Picture this. You're one of the greatest drummers alive. The human metronome who kept the groove for Eric Clapton, George Harrison, and the Beach Boys. Your stick struck gold with classics like Layla. But here's the twist. The man with the magic hands was battling something much darker beneath the surface. Jim Gordon went from studio legend to a headline nightmare. The superstar drummer fell under the thundercloud of schizophrenia. And in 1983, in a shocking, bloody turn, he crossed the terrible line. From superstar sessions to a killing that shocked everyone. This is the bizarre, bloody backbeat of a musical legend gone mad. That's today on Death in Entertainment.
Live from Los Angeles.
911, what is your emergency?
Here in Hollywood now.
2 counts of murder,
Injury and death.
Oh my God!
Shocking new details.
that has stunned the entertainment world.
This makes me a little nervous.
The hair stood up on my arms.
Just like in the movies.
What do you call this thing anyway?
Death
In entertainment.
Greetings, Deado Universe. How the heck are you? My name is Kyle Plouffe.
Hello, and I am Jerry Aquino.
And I am Ben Kissel. Today, we have a fantastic topic for you. Jim Gordon. No, he's not just the commissioner of Gotham. He is also a fantastic musician who's led a crazy life. And we are going to get into the life of the drummer, Jim Gordon.
Today's story, written by Patreon member Brandon Preo.
Okay, so we're zooming in.
Oh,
You're looking at a map?
yeah.
I have the, yeah.
Yeah, it's open?
Yeah.
I'm seeing a man urinating on his front lawn.
Oh,
You better zoom in on USA, summer, 1945.
What kind of segue? All right. No, I get it. Zoom in on the continent.
Yes.
Okay.
Have Google Maps open so you can type in this address.
Yes.
And zoom in that 360 view.
Ben's naked outside.
Hello, full moon.
So it's USA, summer 1945, almost 80 years ago to this day. World War II is coming to an end. Victory Day in Europe had come 2 months prior. Victory Day in Asia would come soon after. The number one song on the radio in America was Sentimental Journey by Les Brown and his orchestra, featuring Doris Day.
Okay.
Anchors Away, starring Frank Sinatra, Katherine Grayson, and Gene Kelly, was about to become the number one box office hit in theaters.
Love it.
In the middle of it all, a child is born.
Oh.
Known for his impeccable technique, musical intuition, and ability to execute complex fills, Jim Gordon's drumming became a defining element in countless popular songs. His style was explosive, his timing, perfect, and presence on stage was unforgettable. He played with incredible force and stamina, making him a go-to name in the Los Angeles elite recording scene.
I feel like stamina is an underrated attribute to a drummer.
You gotta keep going.
You gotta go.
There's no room to stop.
Yeah, you
ever.
gotta go and don't stop.
That's why the ladies like the drummer the most.
Yeah, because they always yell, "Don't stop," and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, pretty much. And they're also like they have the double hand coordination. They've got the double feet coordination.
Yeah.
It's a lot of skill.
They get to pounding.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is even credited in the invention of the future of musical genres such as hip-hop and disco. But behind all the success was a man fighting demons no one could see.
The man who created disco had demons?
Oh.
No way.
Weird.
Devil's music.
What?
His contributions to rock and pop music were monumental, yet his undiagnosed mental illness led to a tragic downfall. In the 1960s and 70s, no serious rock fan viewed the drummer Jim Gordon with anything but awe. By the 1980s, none of them viewed him with anything but contempt.
Wow. Whoa. There's a price to creative genius.
There is.
Yeah, what changed? Obviously, we have Brian Wilson, who just recently passed away. And I watched the documentary on his life. That was a slog for him. Living was not easy.
Yeah.
That brain of his was like, let me self-destruct at any time. It was hard for him. Yeah, it is relatable.
Yeah. But for Jim Gordon, this 180-degree turn led to his virtual erasure from the culture. James Beck Gordon was an American drummer, songwriter, and session musician, and convicted murderer, no less.
Oh.
Whose exceptional talent made him one of the most sought-after drummers of the 1960s and 70s. But that was before the murder, I would imagine.
I would think so.
Probably, yeah.
James Beck Gordon. Great drummer name. He lives up to it.
Born on July 14th, 1945 in Los Angeles, California.
Beautiful.
And raised in the San Fernando Valley, which we are a part of right now.
Nice.
He attended Grant High School, which is where we just had a high school graduation we went to.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Also,
So-
my middle name, Grant.
Grant.
Yeah,
it?
BGK.
Wow, that's very
Nice.
British.
Benjamin Grant Kissel. That's if I ever blow up a mall.
Nice.
Headlines.
Grant High School. So Jim Gordon went there, and the guy from the Wizards, Agent Zero, who brought a gun into the
Gilbert Arenas.
Gilbert Arenas went there as well.
All right.
Very, that's a big span of people.
Rarely do I have a reference that only I could get. Yeah. Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah, it's not me.
Nope.
Yeah. Displaying prodigious musical talent from a young age, Gordon began playing drums in early childhood. At over 6 feet tall and built like a linebacker, Gordon cut an imposing figure behind the drum kit.
Interesting. Usually I think drummers are like 5'10", really wiry.
Even
Yeah.
less than that, like Lars
Lars
Metallica?
Ulrich?
Yeah,
Ulrich.
he's a tiny little guy.
He
Well.
is. He's like short and stocky.
Yeah,
He's always complaining about something.
yeah.
But he's always,
Napster.
But he be banging away.
Yeah, he does bang away on them drums.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Some Kind of Monster. It's a documentary about Metallica, and it shows them in therapy, and it really ruins the whole vibe.
Oh my God.
You never listen to me.
Metallica in therapy?
It literally is that. You never listen to me. Oh, I wrote that song. You never give me credit for it, so on and so
Oh
forth.
my God.
But-
It's like, I'm not accusing you of taking advantage of my chords, but I'm saying I feel like
A lot
you
of
took
that.
advantage of my chords.
A
It's,
lot of
it's
that.
very not metal.
It's
Yeah,
not very
it's
metal.
like not.
Although it is needed. At
Yeah.
some point, I think all bands have to go through therapy. So it's
true.
good from that perspective.
Yeah,
Not everything needs to be on camera.
No.
very true.
Because Jim's father was a practicing alcoholic, he wasn't ready for professional yet. He was just
Right.
practicing.
He was undergrad.
Yeah.
One day, Dad, you're going to turn pro. I just can't finish the bottle of Wild Turkey. I get right towards the end and I can't have the last shot.
You've got this, buddy. Don't let the cops tell you no.
His mother became the de facto leader of the household. Despite this, Jim Gordon was the definition of the all-American boy. We've done a lot of all-American boys who have not been so all-American.
Isn't that
American boy.
so? Then is that the all-American boy?
Yes.
I think, yes, you got
By definition.
You always have to look at the all-American people. You got to look at the pillars of the community. You got to look at a lot of the people who claim to be the nicest guy in the neighborhood.
Yeah, the Good Samaritans, the
Yeah.
ones that are really, really involved.
Right.
You
I
know,
mean-
like John Wayne Gacy.
Absolutely. Again, Polish Day Parade. We've talked about that before. Look at Beaver. Leave it to Beaver. His name became a euphemism for vagina.
It really
How
did.
do you think that happened? He was slaying cooch. He must have been. That's why they call it the Beeve.
That's okay.
By the age of 17, he had declined a music scholarship to UCLA to pursue a professional music career.
I like that. Go do it.
I ain't going to college.
Go do the damn thing.
In Boston, we have Berkeley School of Music, and they say if you graduate, then you're like a loser there. You have to leave.
Oh,
Because the guys from South Park, they went there. They ended up leaving. They ended up getting like Oscars and Tonys for everything they've done musically.
I mean, yeah, they're geniuses.
Yeah.
yeah. Also, the Tony sounds like the sweatiest of all the statues you get.
The Tony.
really
Here's a
is.
Tony.
Here's a Tony.
Covered in gabagool.
Yeah. It's not Italian, it's Sicilian.
Okay, fine. I feel like I'm back in high school in Long Island.
Right.
Why does my award have the meat sweats? He joined the Everly Brothers touring band and joined them on their 1963 live tour of the United Kingdom.
Yo, at like before 20 years old?
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Returning to LA, Jim immersed himself in the vibrant Los Angeles music scene, quickly becoming a prominent figure among session musicians. Session musicians.
Session musicians.
Yeah.
Session musicians.
That's a tongue
session
twister for
musicians.
It really is.
His versatility and precision made him a favorite among producers and artists alike. Working and studying closely with the legendary drummer Hal Blaine, Gordon became a key member of the Wrecking Crew.
Nice.
Sounds like a WWF tag team.
It really
Yeah.
does.
You know, considering this isn't my forte of music, you're going to have to explain a lot of these old bands to me.
You'll know a lot of them.
You'll know
Okay.
some. Everly Brothers, real cool. Just think of a cigar could talk.
So far, I heard Frank Sinatra at the beginning, and that's the only thing I had a reference to in my brain.
Yeah.
Well, the Wrecking Crew, they're a collective elite session musicians based in L.A. who played on countless hits throughout the 60s and 70s.
Got it.
You don't want to see a room after they were there.
Right.
It's not just a clever name.
They wrecked it. At the peak of his session work, Gordon's schedule was so demanding that he reportedly flew daily between Las Vegas and Los Angeles to fulfill recording sessions and live performances.
Dang, all right.
That's a lot of work.
It is.
Flying, though, is only like 40 minutes, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's chill.
And strangely enough, I feel like it was safer then, even though statistically I'm sure it wasn't. But, he's
Yeah.
fine.
It seems like it was safer then.
Yeah.
Gordon's exceptional drumming skills led him to collaborate with a myriad of artists across various genres. In 1966, Jim joined the Beach Boys, which has been in the news this week.
Of course.
R.I.P. Brian Wilson.
Yes, sir.
He joined the Beach Boys in studio to help them record their magnum opus, Pet Sounds.
I had no idea how amazing the Beach Boys were until I've seen the documentaries, because for me, I'm just like, I think of, Surfing USA, and I'm like,
Right.
it's pretty bass music. But apparently it's genius. And
Yeah.
I don't know enough about music to understand why it's genius, so then it's extra genius.
Yeah, pretty much. That's where I fall. I kind of understand that Beach Boys were like a crazy impact to this music thing that we've got going on,
Yeah.
but don't really know of them.
Well, yeah, it was a little like Kokomo's, Surfing USA. I thought it was like old guy music, but then
Yeah.
they were on Full House, and then Jesse
They
played with them, and I was
were.
like, oh my God, these guys are the best.
Well, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
That gave me an idea that they might be a huge deal.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's when
They're
I first
telling you.
started to recognize. I'm like, yes, the ever classic Beach Boys that I'm just finding out about right now.
And they let the Olsen twins on stage and everything. It was great.
Yeah.
Uncle Jesse holds up. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool guy.
He really does.
Cool guy all around.
Just
What was he the guitarist and lead singer then, or?
Yeah.
he was. Oh my God.
Of
he
Jesse
was
and the
so-
somethings.
He was so hot.
I'll find it, Jesse.
I
I'll
think-
do
I
my
think-
work on the show, okay, everybody? I'm finding out what the band was.
I think no matter what sexuality or gender preference you've got going on, like John Stamos was a stud.
He was.
It was crazy too, moving to California. When I first moved here, I lived in Glendale for 2 weeks, and then I moved into an apartment in Hawthorne. And Hawthorne is the birthplace of the Beach Boys and Marilyn Monroe.
Whoa.
But they have a whole shrine to the Beach Boys there that's right off the 105 highway. And their house that they grew up in was a victim of eminent domain, so they could build that highway. So they just have a plaque where their house used to be.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've recovered the name. I went through all of my files.
Ah, yes.
I blew off a lot of manila envelopes, if you know what I mean, to find the answer. It's Jesse and the Rippers.
Yes!
Jesse and the Rippers.
Which kind of sounds like
Yes.
Wrecking Crew. Rippers, cool.
Yeah.
That was gonna kill me.
Maybe it was like an homage.
Maybe.
Widely considered the greatest pop rock album of all time, Jim was credited with playing the drums and the plastic orange juice cups on the iconic love ballad called God Only Knows.
What was the plastic orange juice cups?
Yeah, just boop, 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 boop.
Wow, that's incredible.
Wow.
I would have loved to be in that room with Brian Wilson just randomly yelling shit at you, and you just like, oh, okay, I'll do it. And then it works out.
And then
Hit the
it's like
cups.
amazing. The plastic orange cup.
Cool. What a credit.
You may ask yourself, didn't the Beach Boys have a drummer? They did.
Didn't the Beach Boys have a drummer?
Dennis Wilson was more known for surfing, picking up chicks, and hanging out with Charles Manson
Yeah.
Oh.
than establishing his own musical legacy.
That is his musical legacy. What are you talking about?
That's pretty much
Fingering chicks on the
right.
beach.
That's the legacy, hanging out with Charles Manson. He was establishing his legacy.
Good
Yeah.
old rock and roll.
In another death and entertainment coincidence, just this week, the leader and genius behind the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, died on June 11th, 2025 at the age of 82. But Jim Gordon didn't stay just a session player for long. So if people that are listening don't know what a session player is, they only go with the band into the studio to record, and then they have their own musicians to go live on tour with them.
It's the closest
Right.
thing you can get to a 9 to 5 as a musician.
Yes, you get paid well, but you do the job and you're out. They're not like,
Yeah.
you're in the band now.
You're not in the band.
Even though you created
Yeah.
this sweet juice in the same room,
Yeah.
you're not coming on tour.
You played the hell out of those cups, kid, but you can't come to Sacramento with us.
Nope.
Pack your juice cups and get the fuck out of here.
But a lot of times they say some of the greatest musicians are session musicians.
Oh,
You never know
absolutely.
their
Yeah.
names or anything.
And
Yep.
it's because it's because they can roll with the punches, so they can pick up on a band, like their energy plus whatever musical thing they're going for,
Yeah.
and then they can just like drop it and move on and switch gears for the next band.
Yeah.
I think that's incredible talent.
It is.
Yeah. My next door neighbor played bass on the first Paramore album. And he has the whole record there that went like gold and platinum and all that stuff.
Well, that's kind of sad, though. I've seen your apartment.
But not my apartment, his apartment.
No, but I know, but it's your neighbor.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
don't get into music anymore.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
you get to live by Kyle and his screaming child.
In North Hollywood.
You know, I played the bass for Paramore.
Right.
Put your kid to sleep.
He was recruited to join Delaney and Bonnie's band after another drummer named Jim Keltner, dropped out of the upcoming tour.
Okay. What was the name of that band?
Delaney and Bonnie.
Oh, all right.
Delaney and Bonnie.
Yeah, you want to go see Delaney and Bonnie tonight? Nah. I don't.
I'm going to stay in.
What if you and I just ran away together? An old Delaney and Bonnie situation.
Sounds like going to see your parents' cover band, your parents' favorite cover band or something.
Yeah.
Or just your parents singing.
Yeah. So Keltner was out. Gordon got in, and that's where he would meet bassist Carl Rattle. And together they became one of the tightest rhythm sections in rock music.
That's crazy. One of my best friends growing up was last named Rattle.
Ooh.
You can never trust a rattle.
No.
You can never trust a rattle because poison.
They really are crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
In 1969 and 1970, Gordon and Rattle toured with Delaney and Bonnie, a group that included guitarist Eric Clapton
Oh.
and keyboardist Bobby Whitlock.
They say if you follow the yelling of the N-word, you'll find Eric Clapton to this day.
Holy shit.
Was he a big N-word guy?
Oh, yeah. What? Oh, bro, you
boy.
can just search Eric Clapton meltdown in the 1970s. There was a black dude at his concert.
Oh,
he
my
was
God.
none too pleased.
Holy shit.
So he was just opening the window to scream the N-word, and that's when his kid fell out?
Happy to fucking say I'm not an Eric Clapton fan.
No, he's
Jesus.
Yeah, he's notorious for kind of being a D-bag.
Wow. Did not know.
Maybe
Me
he's
neither.
changed. Who knows?
That lineup subsequently served as the studio band for Eric Clapton's self-titled debut solo album, Eric Clapton.
Oh, makes sense.
This was in 1970. That led to work on George Harrison's post-Beatles masterpiece, All Things Must Pass.
I love that. Some good old-fashioned George Harrison.
Yeah.
Although the Hare Krishnas, not horrible, but annoying. Remember in Union Square, New York City, the Hare Krishnas were always there.
Yes, they were always there.
And I just don't know what they were. I don't know what the class structure was, but
And
it was very bizarre.
And then sometimes they would give me a nice little offering of something.
Yeah, they would give me they tried to give me a gold pendant. I was like really depressed. I was like, oh, thank you. This is so nice. And
then
they
they
tried to grab
charged
it
you.
back, and we got into like a pulling match.
What?
Yeah, like
for-
almost fought this guy.
For me, they would charge me. They would be.
Well,
they
he was
would-
like, no, you need to pay. And I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? You gave this to me.
Right, yeah, like they give it to you like as a gift, and then they pull out like a clipboard, and it's like, all right, thanks. Now sign your name here and how much you're going to be giving me. And
Yeah, I
I'm
don't-
like, what?
I don't like when someone gives me a gift and then hands me a clipboard.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Fuck you.
For anyone visiting New York, no mixed CDs are free.
None
No.
of them.
You wanna try 'em
They
out
all
mixed?
come with a price.
They all do. The answer is no, you don't want to try their mixed CD.
My
Yeah.
buddy was like, I support the arts. He gave him $25, and then we got back, and the CD was empty.
Of course.
Duh.
But he did support the arts. And a nasty, nasty crack habit.
Yep.
So with George Harrison, that's where Gordon played side by side with none other than Ringo Starr.
Ringo is my man. Mm-hmm. All he had to do was keep time in the Beatles, watch everyone else freak the fuck out over their dumb bullshit, and Ringo just stayed in the back and chilled.
Suddenly, Jim Gordon's drumming was everywhere, instantly recognizable, in demand, and legendary. In early 1970, Gordon joined Joe Cocker's famous Mad Dogs and Englishmen tour.
Nice.
I do not know.
Oh, have a little help from your friends?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
John Belushi did the impression of Mr. Cocker.
Oh.
That's very famous. But Joe Cocker famously never really wrote many songs. He did a lot of covers, but he sang so beautifully, he got every song that he wanted.
Fuck yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's kind of the dream.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. The dream for all of us, in case you haven't noticed, is less work, more success. That's the dream.
That's the dream right there. I don't have to make a song. I just got to sing one.
Sweet.
Well, I do that all the time.
Why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah.
This is where he met Rita Coolidge, who became his girlfriend.
Okay.
She was a backup singer in the touring band. In her memoir, Coolidge described a frightening moment during the tour when Gordon punched her in the face in a hotel.
Oh my
mama.
God.
Right in the hallway in the lobby.
She had an old Diddy moment.
So,
Musicians.
so hard that
Is
she
it
was.
because she left the freak off?
Yeah.
Never leave the freak off early.
Can't.
She wasn't on time. Yeah, so he punched her in the face apparently so hard that she was knocked unconscious.
Well, that's not right.
After this, the relationship was over. Next came the band Derek and the Dominoes.
Yeah, of course.
Formed during the recording sessions for the George Harrison album, Derek and the Dominoes brought together Gordon, Clapton, Rattle, Whitlock, and Dave Mason of The Traffic, as well as Duane Allman of the Allman Brothers Band.
Damn, that's a super group.
Mm-hmm. As one of rock music's first ever supergroups, their one and only studio album, Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs, became one of the most defining records of the 70s.
Is that the Layla?
Layla.
That's the one we all know. They sang it, huh?
Got me on my knees.
Oh.
Yeah, buddy, I'm sorry. Layla has a huge dick. That's why he's on his knees sucking it.
Nice.
You get it.
And Gordon didn't just play on the album. He co-wrote the title track, Layla, contributing that unforgettable, heart-wrenching piano coda that closes the song.
Wow.
However, according to Jim's battered girlfriend at the time, singer Rita Coolidge, the coda originally came from a song they wrote together called Time.
Uh-oh.
So he's stealing.
Music fight, music fight, music fight.
Misappropriating notes.
I do think a music fight is cooler than a comedian you stole my joke fight.
Oh, it's way cooler.
Yeah.
It has so much more credibility too.
It really does. It really does. Because most days, like, I had that joke about the taint, and then you took my taint joke.
You took my taint joke.
That's it.
Because it was obviously super original that I just made it up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's fucking. It's
happens all the time.
It's hacky that they even get their feelings hurt about that.
Yeah, true.
So Rita claimed that it was lifted and repurposed without credit. In her 2016 memoir, Delta Lady, Coolidge recalled that they had played the song for Clapton while in England, and she was stunned when it appeared at the end of Layla without credit.
Oh, you got to give credit where credit is due. Come on, people.
Coolidge wrote, "I was infuriated. What they'd clearly done was take the song Jim and I had written, jettison the lyrics, and tacked it on to the end of Eric's song. It was almost the same arrangement."
I understand being bitter about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They literally just took a song. It's like when you plagiarize something, but you're trying to make it kind of seem like your own words. So you're like changing just like a couple of words here and there. You slap your name on the top, and you're like, "Bam! It's in my own words."
Exactly.
Instead of saying "and," I wrote and there it is. 'Cause that's more like me.
Yeah, that is like you.
Derek and the Dominoes disbanded in 1971 before completing a second album. Duane Allman soon died in a motorcycle crash. Carl Rattle passed away young from complications related to alcohol and drugs. Bobby Whitlock retreated from the spotlight for years. Only Eric Clapton emerged mostly intact from that supergroup.
He was big into cocaine.
So the whole thing was like cursed.
Yeah, it was mostly intact because he didn't have his nasal cavity anymore, so he wasn't completely intact.
Got it.
Yeah, this supergroup, it does sound like this was the group not to be a part of if you want to have a successful career afterwards.
Pretty much, yeah.
A lot of death and then recluseness.
Yeah. Jim Gordon's role on recording sessions and albums soon extended way beyond the simple task of keeping time. Author Joel Selvin wrote in his biography of Gordon, Drums and Demons, he wasn't just a backseat guy. He was a fully musical drummer who embedded his playing into the core of the composition.
Nice. I would go with Demons and Drums, though. I think Demons and Drums has a better role to it.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Than Drums and Demons. Because when I hear drums initially, I'm thinking chicken.
Drumsticks.
Yeah.
It's true. When I say drumstick, I'm not talking about the musical thing.
Do you often? I also think about the ice cream, which is apparently not ice cream because it doesn't melt.
Oh.
It doesn't. I guess I've never waited long enough to see if it melts or not.
It was big on social media about a year and a half ago where the drumstick, people were figuring out, what is it, a psyop made by the government trying to kill us because it doesn't melt because it's not ice cream. It's an ice cream product.
A year and a half ago, and that is still taking up space in your memory bank right now.
This is the problem with no longer drinking alcohol. I'm really smart.
Yeah.
And I hate every second
You're
of
really
it.
smart about really stupid things.
Oh, yeah. No, total moron. I don't know anything that matters.
Yeah.
If there was a time machine, don't send me.
Yeah.
Because nothing's going to be here. I can't figure out anything. We barely have fire.
What if you had the chance to go back in time and kill Hitler? And that like someone
you know
assigned
feed him drumsticks.
Like someone assigned you to do it.
I would have. Oh, this is going to be taken out of context, okay? But don't.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
would
it's
have
a
loved
setup.
Hitler, so he didn't fucking have so much hatred in his heart.
Okay, well,
Because he was just a person.
You would be beating him off?
I would. No, I'm not. No, that's what led to all of that.
God,
I wouldn't have been beaten off Hitler. No, I would have said. I would have. It was a. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Maybe my grandfather fought in the war. Okay.
Right. I was saying if you were to be like assigned a job to go back in time and kill Hitler, you would probably go back in time and just tell Hitler
I think it's nurturing.
drumsticks and their lack of melting.
Yes, and I would have said,
And you would have just
I would have nurtured him to the point where he would not have had such hostility towards specifically a group of people.
Oh, so you got so you have Hitler as a baby in this analogy. Like you get him young.
Oh, I would have to get him as a baby. I
Yeah.
think that's what people usually say is if you could kill baby Hitler. But it's tough to kill a baby.
Yeah.
Man, what about Jim Gordon?
Yeah, let's get back to that. Thank you so much. I'm gonna think about that all night. Toddler Hitler, is that easier? When does it become super easy?
Yeah.
When he starts speaking in crazy German angrily.
Right.
So Jim, he was an expert at fusing musical genres in a way no drummer had ever done before.
Ooh.
So take, for example, the fills, and the intonations he added to Carly Simon's You're So Vain.
That one I know.
Probably think this song is about you.
Don't you?
But it is about somebody.
It has to be.
It was, yeah.
But that's the whole thing. Is like, even if it is about you, you're fucking so vain.
It's a time loop.
Is it Mick Jagger?
It's a catch-22 of lyrics.
It really is.
So his fills and intonations, they were so integral that they helped guide the vocal phrasing.
Integral?
Integral?
I don't know.
Integral.
Yeah.
Integral.
Okay.
They both work. Which were so integral.
Let's try that one more time. It's getting worse.
No, it's fine. If that's how you say it, that's how you say it.
This is the beauty of editing. This is just for the Patreon.
Yeah.
Integral.
Which were so integral. That's the only two ways you say it.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Those are
what
just
we
say
do.
this. Okay. And we leave that. Edit done.
Which were so important, they helped guide the vocal phrasing. We're leaving all that in.
Fine. And we'll get a note. Be like,
No
you guys
edits.
are just going to not edit the podcast? Well, no, I guess we're not going to fucking edit the podcast.
I like this non-edit.
All right, fine.
It's raw. It's real.
It's dumb.
Yes.
Integral.
Or the samba groove he added to Maria Muldaur's #1 hit, Midnight at the Oasis.
Nice.
In Steely Dan's Ricky Don't Lose That Number.
What?
Hell yeah.
Ricky better not lose that number.
I mean, back in the day, if you lost that number, you're fucked.
Oh, you're so
no,
fucked.
so fucked.
It's over.
You lost that ass.
Yeah.
The beat he devised took the song into the realm of jazz. In doing so, Sullivan says, Jim became an important part of the hit-making process. Mark Lindsay, frontman of the band Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Let's go. Oh, my
Immediately-
God. My uncle Spider Sense is getting... I'm like, ooh, now you're talking about some fresh, new hit music.
Yeah. They immediately noticed Gordon's gift after he was hired to drum on their song, The Great Airplane Strike, which is not about the Indian Airlines big crash
Kyle,
today.
How would
Right.
they have known?
Yeah.
Mhm. Was it about the airplanes? Was it about the strike, the air traffic controller strike? Because that happened in the 80s.
I don't know.
It was one of Ronnie Reagan's first I'm
Great
a tough guy
Airplane.
moment.
What if this is just about the time that a girl wouldn't suck his pee-pee, and he calls his pee-pee the Great Airplane?
And she's on strike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it was a forewarning of 9/11.
Oh
Could
my
have
God.
been. Could have been.
Lindsay recalls he was doing his polyrhythmic thing with a kick, a snare, and a hi-hat, accented by tom-toms.
It does sound like it would look really goofy, but I know it doesn't. But if I just heard those words together, I'd be like, is he a cartoon octopus?
That's
Right.
like what's
I was gonna
happening?
be like, is he also on a unicycle juggling? Why is this sound so silly?
What a great halftime show that was.
They say he changed the song up so much that I wound up rewriting half my lyrics to fit what he was doing.
Interesting.
Wow.
Jim became the conductor of the track.
I mean, it sounds awesome. It sounds really exhilarating to be in a room and hearing that like creative genius for the first time.
Yep. I know. I wish I had that ear for music.
It's crazy because a lot of the drummers, they're brought in last to just like fill in, whatever else everybody did.
The bongs and the bings.
That makes
Really?
yeah.
It doesn't start with the drummer? I feel like it has to start with some kind of a beat.
Sometimes, but they're like, hey, we already know what the song is. Then you kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
This guy's like, I'm fucking changing the whole world with this shit.
Yeah.
that's
He
why
like hears a song and he's like, I see what you're going for. Let me make this better.
Yeah.
That's why the drummer is often the loneliest, isn't he?
I guess so.
Yes, oftentimes.
Yeah, he's all the way in the back, surrounded by all the
Equipment.
drums.
Yeah.
That same level of creativity was found during the recording of Sundown, a song Jim played for Gordon Lightfoot that became a #1 hit.
Sundown. Yep.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, exactly like that.
No, that's it.
Producer Lenny Waronker.
What?
Waronker.
We're Wonker.
Producer Lenny Waronker.
Oh, you got to love that guy. Once Wonker gets his hands on it, it's going to turn into pure gold.
What about Waronker?
Yeah. Everybody's about to get ronked.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's what he said all the time.
Yeah.
You just got wronged.
That's great.
He said his drum part made the song move in its own way. It's a specific rhythm that Jimmy picked up from Gordon's guitar.
Nice.
It became one of the most important parts of the song.
Love that.
Yeah. In 1973, Jim devised a pair of drum patterns that proved crucial to the development of two separate genres. His percussion laid down influential beats on the single Rock the Boat by the Hughes Corporation, which sounds very
It sounds
not music.
Yeah.
Hughes Corporation does sound like they're about to liquidate your assets.
But also make you feel good about it with some nice tunes.
Oh, they do it with cool sunglasses on.
Yep.
Like, you like that couch? So do we.
It's often considered the first disco song with Gordon's hi-hat, syncopations, and danceable beats helping the patent rhythms of the genre.
Interesting. I wonder if he got any blowback, because disco, loved by many, hated by a lot.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it, though.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
But can you imagine if it permeated the culture as mainstream? I could see that being very
Actually,
annoying.
yeah, I could see that driving me absolutely insane.
Because now we listen on by choice every now and again.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't tell about the way I use my
Get away from me! Get away from me!
Yeah.
Sounds like a stalker song.
Yeah.
Jim also invented the rhythm and beat that would go on to inspire hip-hop, notably in the single Apache by the Incredible Bongo Band.
The Bongo Band.
The Incredible Bongo Band.
I love
They're like superheroes with bongos.
Awesome.
He invented the rhythm and beat that would inspire hip hop.
We need to get a black person in here
Yeah,
ASAP.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not fucking sure about that at all, to be quite honest. That is suspect. And also, look,
Well, for the sake of this program, that's what happened, okay?
Yeah.
well, for the sake of this program, I can say I don't know about that.
All right.
So far, he's had a lot of success, and we are commenting on his, quote unquote creative geniuses, and everyone's like, oh, he's made a beat. Like, no, we've never heard something like that before. I am still thinking about the fact that he punched that girl in the face and knocked her the fuck out.
Well,
I have not forgotten about that.
He was keeping the beat going, Jerry.
Yeah, clearly. Not only did he knock her the fuck out, but then he, stole her song.
He did double kick drums.
That is bad. That's bad.
Insult to injury. And then she was sitting there like, wow, I guess fuck me completely, I guess.
Yeah.
It's really not given the credit there, because that's like extra. That stays there forever.
And now all of a sudden he's making a contribution to hip hop. Like, okay, all right.
Well, I'm looking at the Incredible Bongo Band, and they are cool. But
that's what you need for
they don't
street
sound
cred,
that cool.
Yeah.
Well, they got a white fella, and then a black fella, and then a white fella, and the cover is them on a train track.
Wow.
About to shoot a goat.
Oh my God. Are they in Texas?
Yeah, so the cover is a man in a top hat about to shoot a goat in front of a train.
Because, they started asking for help shooting their goats.
And this is called The Return of the Incredible Bongo Band.
I'm going to give them a listen.
Why not?
Hey, we're back and we're shooting goats on train tracks.
Let's do it.
Tell your friends. His extended break on the song, paired with the congas of King Erison, became a foundational pattern in hip hop that was later sampled throughout the 80s and beyond.
I'm going to need to see some
Receipts?
proof. I need credit. I need sources. Yeah, I just want, I'm not saying I don't believe them, but I just want to see sources.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with Spotify right now, and we're playing ads on the shows, we can't do any copyrighted music.
Gotcha.
But we will do a Patreon only of all the songs that we're talking about. We don't have to do it tonight, but we'll get it on Patreon so we can actually hear everything and not get demonetized.
Honestly, yeah. And I actually do. I want to hear all these things for references.
Yes. That'd be a fun video.
Maybe the sheep knew. And that's why they had the gun to the sheep's head on the cover of that album.
So despite his success, Gordon battled severe mental illness. It was later diagnosed. It was later diagnosed as schizophrenia.
Oh, that's a bad one.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he was so good at drums. There's a bunch of people in his head playing a bunch of different beats at the same time.
Makes sense.
That makes total sense. That's why he sees other things that people don't see in music.
Wow. I mean, that does make sense. By the late 1970s, Jim's condition quickly deteriorated. He'd disappear for days, which that's not so bad.
I mean, if he was
If he was supposed to be at work every day, that'd be a little bad.
No,
supposed to be at work, instead he was at the seashore proclaiming to be Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Right.
That'd be an issue.
It's one thing I'm jealous of. I can't do that anymore. You can't disappear for days when you have a kid.
Yeah.
Then you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole absent father thing.
It's a whole
Yeah.
neglect thing. It's weird.
I mean, you could just do it.
It's a real bummer. Well, yeah, you could, but then
You know, people will kind of judge you, and I would feel sad.
I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like you.
No.
Well, he heard voices as well. He spiraled into erratic, destructive behavior.
Uh-oh. Like Randy Orton.
Oh,
He hears voices in his head.
I hear voices in my head.
Got it.
That was so good, we might get copyright struck.
That was good. Yeah, that was good.
He began experiencing disturbing auditory hallucinations, including voices commanding him to harm himself and others. And that's the thing about schizophrenia I don't like. Why can't they be positive in the things that they say?
Right.
Like, oh, go make sure you get vegetables.
Well,
Go grocery shopping.
it's the intrusive thoughts
Take
that
a
come
shower.
in. Yeah, the intrusive thoughts really start running the show.
Well, sometimes it does kind of show in positive ways. And then because of that, things go like undiagnosed or like they let them like kind of stay on this like track because it seems so good. Like when people with schizophrenia will have like, what are they like the grandiose visions or just like acting like they're like
I'm Papa John now. I own a pizza franchise now.
yeah, and then sometimes that leads to you actually being like a leader of some sort because you were so delusional to think that you were a leader of a company that you actually kind of became one. And then everyone's like, I guess that's good. So those are the times where sometimes it does come out in a good light.
I believe it.
Well, that's not what happened here.
Okay.
The voices
Right.
the voices compelled him to engage in self-destructive behaviors such as self-starvation, which could just be a diet. It's a cleanse now.
No,
It's literally called like the white girl diet now. I just did a bunch of Adderall because I'm getting married in 3 months.
I know that it's a problem for people that I don't gain enough weight, but I'm so pissed
We're
at that.
people too.
Yeah, it's just really aggravating.
Yeah.
that's an issue for you.
Well, yeah, but apparently, because I'm of the Latina race, I think I'm supposed to get all of the weight that I was supposed to gain throughout all of my life. I think it's all going to smack me when I'm like 60.
Oh, that's fine.
Unless I'm like working out a bunch.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean, it's just nice to know that no matter what, you're not going to be attractive physically to one group of people at all times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No one ever is.
It's great.
You're ugly to somebody. You're beautiful to somebody.
Never forget that.
Yeah.
I just haven't met him yet.
No, you're ugly to a lot of
What are
people.
you talking about, Kyle? You're clearly ugly.
No, he's handsome. He's a Boston 11.
We're just
Yeah.
fucking with him.
So he would also deprive himself of sleep. And yet he kept it hidden from the public and from his peers.
Oh my God, he's like with that fantastic role in The Machinist.
Oh,
He
yeah,
needs
Christian
to,
Bale.
He needs to sleep and he needs to eat. This is
Yeah.
not good for his condition.
Yeah, speaking of ugly, someone told me, oh my God, you look like Christian Bale from The Fighter. And I was like, oh, Christian Bale, he's
Oof.
handsome. That's nice. And they're like, no, Christian Bale from The Fighter.
Yeah,
When he's
yeah,
a heroin
from
addict.
The fighter is rough.
Yeah,
mean,
parolee.
What do you have so much meat on your bones?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was fishing for a compliment.
Here it is.
You got one. You caught a big one.
Yeah.
You got a big one.
No, he's handsome in The Fighter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's skinny. All right.
When he eventually sought help, he was misdiagnosed. He was treated for alcohol abuse instead of receiving appropriate psychiatric care.
And often, yeah, that goes hand in hand many times.
And obviously, lack of sleep will take you straight to some kind of a psychotic episode, no matter where you are in mental
Yeah.
health.
If I don't get 18 hours a day, ugh.
I know,
Right?
right?
Don't even look at me.
Beauty sleep.
Still, some in the music industry were already beginning to see through it. Claudia Lenier said she always wondered about that smile. It was too simple. It felt like he was hiding behind it.
Oh, damn. That's a crazy insult. You know what I
You
don't
have
like
a
about,
simple smile.
You know what I don't like about your smile? It's too simple.
That is scary. It's a great visual.
Yeah.
Because the truth's always in the eyes.
Yeah. And even a simple smile sounds like hollow, dark black eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. They never say that about the nose. I think the truth is in the nose. You can look for little flare-ups here or there.
The nostrils will talk.
The nostrils will tell.
They're the lie detector of the body.
They really
The
are.
lie detector of the face.
I've heard that.
In 1973, Gordon viciously attacked his wife, which now he has a track record.
Yeah.
Renee Armand, she had several ribs cracked.
Oh my god.
These are very aggressive. So this is extremely this is
He's not
horrible.
like holding back. He's like in a place when he does these things. He
Yeah.
like
Right.
snaps out of it.
Well, the good thing is it ended their marriage, so she was able to get away. But his beat, sanity, and everything else in his life were beginning to seriously waver.
So that was probably the last piece of structure in his life, and then fucked that up massively. So he's in free fall now.
And I'm guessing these were never reported
Yeah,
to anyone.
Well, somehow we know.
So it's not been.
Was there a police report on that?
possibly.
There must have been some information if we know about it.
That's true.
To biographer Joel Selvin, Gordon's talent can't be separated from his torment. The level of intuition that Jim displayed in his playing requires a certain electrochemical makeup.
It's a great name for a band, also.
Is that just saying that he needs to be losing his mind and on drugs constantly for him to spew out the musical genius that he is able to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Brian Wilson said. He said that he never sat down to write a song. The songs came to him. He said they would burst through his chest and cause him like immense amounts of energy and anxiety. So it is interesting.
I weirdly believe that.
Yeah, it's like it comes from another place. That's what he said. Anyway.
Yeah.
His highly personal style had to come from the same place in the brain that produced his schizophrenia, he said.
Wow.
That also kind of checks out.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
It's like a grocery store that sells like really, really good meat, but then also just a bunch of fucking shit sandwiches.
Yep.
Piss spam.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to OK Bud. The focus and power involved in playing the drums gave Gordon a refuge from the thoughts going on in his head. Selvin continues, the combination of the renaissance of the drums and the rhythmic entertainment of the groove produces a hypnotic feeling that can lift you out. Nothing calms a schizophrenic faster than a Walkman and a pair of headphones, which I don't know if that's true.
Nothing does what? What?
Nothing calms a schizophrenic faster than a Walkman and a pair of headphones. So if you're being bludgeoned to death as a homeless man and the guy's like, I'm schizophrenic, you're like, where's my Walkman?
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. You put on the headphones. It's like, much better. Continue.
I could see music, though. Music therapy. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
For Jim, the drums provided a place where the voices silenced.
Oof.
It's very ironic.
Yeah.
It's like it's when you like you have so much like cognitive dissonance, not even cognitive, like just dissonance in your brain, and then when you're able to produce something outside of your body that kind of like takes that dissonance outside of your brain, places it outside of you, and because of that you feel like a sense of calm. Oh my God, am I schizophrenic?
No, totally not schizophrenic.
Put the knife down.
Kyle, let's go.
Yeah, that's exactly how, because people always will like ask me like, oh, the people that don't like metal music, they're always like, oh my God, how do you listen to that stuff?
Yeah.
And that's always how I would describe it. Is
No,
that, like, I
that's-
feel like there's like a lot of like chaos and dissonance inside my brain, and that takes it out of my body and it like calms me.
Right.
Yeah,
That's why you think you're in a studio recording a podcast right now. But there hasn't been a podcast here in 30 years.
Ma'am, wake up. You're in Vegas. You're on the Sunset Strip, butt naked, ma'am.
I'm a citizen. I'm a citizen.
Oh, yeah. That's something you need to start yelling regularly. Citizen, just so you know.
At the same time, the 1970s amount of recreational drugs Gordon took had the calming effect that would also get rid of this. You would think the massive amounts of cocaine he did would make things worse, Selvin said. But I talked to psychiatrists who said that it would normalize his dopamine levels. That's scary.
I mean, I'm ADHD. It does kind of that for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was doing blow to feel normal, he said. So his drug and alcohol use also served as a cover for his increasingly erratic actions.
I understand that.
The rock scene of the time was nearly indistinguishable from psychotic behavior, which that's going to be crazy because LA right now, the music scene is not really going on. I mean, it's there, but it's not like this.
It's not like what it used to be.
It's definitely not that. Yeah. If anything, I would say comedians took on the roles of rock and roll lifestyle bullshit.
Yeah.
These days.
It's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how well it's going.
Yeah. So for them, Jim just blended into the background. Which that if
Oh yeah,
the scene is so crazy.
The dude is rock and roll. What do you want? He's gonna be fucking gone for some days. Sometimes sober, sometimes on coke.
He's shaking in the corner every time he comes back. He has less hair, like Mick Foley as Mankind. It's fine.
It's like Alice in Wonderland, where it's like we're all a little mad down here.
Yeah, pretty much.
In 1974, Jim Gordon joined the country rock supergroup, the Souther Hillman Furay Band.
Oh.
Okay.
However, his behavior grew so erratic that they were forced to fire him after recording the first album.
That's too bad. That sounds like it's music right up my alleyway.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
up my poop shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Poop shoot boogie.
He was barely holding on. He managed to keep it together in the studio for, just a few more years. But by 1978, Gordon was proving to be too unreliable to be employed.
Which is sad because at one point he was
He was the guy.
He was the man.
the guy.
In 1979, Bob Dylan called and asked Jim to tour with him. What?
Wow.
Jim was eager to play with Dylan, but the voices in his head wouldn't let him do it.
Oh, damn.
What did the voices say?
In fact, the voices told Jim to hang up the phone.
Oh, shit.
He's Jewish.
No shit.
So he hung up on Dylan, and the voices obliged. But Jim himself was furious. He's like, "Why'd you tell me to do that?"
Oh.
Yeah, they were like, because it's good for you. We know it's good for you. How do you know that? Because I'm telling you. He's just going nuts.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It does suck. Also, his voices are horrible managers.
Yeah.
You got to get him on the tour. Get him on the road with Dylan.
That's what I'm saying. You're supposed to be building this guy up. The voices aren't, too positive.
Well, maybe the voices were his intuition being like, hey, you're really sick. Maybe get some help and don't just keep going like
No, I
it's
think
normal.
these voices were just lazy. They were too lazy to tour.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Jim then called Paul Anka, who he knew from the past sessions, and Anka had a Vegas gig waiting for him. Jim went to Vegas to perform with Anka for a couple weeks, which, if you know anything about Vegas, schizophrenic, that's the perfect place for them to be.
Is it?
I say that as well because again, I have my own issues. And Vegas, all the ding ding ding, boom boom boom, come over here, honey. You want to I'll suck you off for 12. Like all of that stuff is very calming.
Wow.
Because when things are calm, then my brain is going crazy, and then chaos ensues. But if I'm around chaos, then I'm very calm.
Right.
Okay, so basically me with metal music is you in Vegas?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Nice.
Sick.
But you can win. You can't win money at metal music.
I can't lose money either.
That's true.
Price of the ticket. So during the sound check, after hitting the drums once, the voices in his head grew loud.
Oof.
They said, "You hit it again and you're dead."
What?
Oh shit.
He couldn't continue. He needed to live.
No, it's like what's the name of the
Holy
Spider-Man
shit.
bad guy? It reminds me of the Spider-Man bad guy, the Green Goblin.
Green Goblin, yeah. He told the music director he had psychological problems and couldn't proceed. So that's the first time he's being honest about it.
Wow, he actually owned up to it.
It's very progressive.
That's incredibly ahead of the times.
Now I'm assuming that this guy said, "Man up, toughen the fuck up. You're a pussy. Get back to work."
Yeah, because it's 1980.
Well, you know what? Also very progressive. He agreed and returned him to Los Angeles.
Okay.
Wow.
And that marked the end of his professional career.
Wow.
I guess the voices won out
The
at the
voices fucking won.
end. What did they have against drumming?
They had enough of that shit.
If he hit the drums one more time, he was going to die.
Yeah.
That's what they...
Take up the ukulele.
Yeah, because some voice in his head was like, if I hear this fucking drum snare one more time, I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Right.
He was over it, but the way he needed to admit it to himself was by separating the voice and being like, if you hit this one more time, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, that's interesting. I watched a little documentary on Ramirez, and apparently when Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, when he was in prison, he talked about his crimes, but he always said his friend.
Wow.
So he separated him
Wow.
from his crimes, which is interesting.
So
Randy and Randall Woodfield.
Oh, yes.
Two different guys.
Oh my God. Yeah, Jerry and my full name, which will be disclosed at a later time.
So imagine later in life when Jim Gordon actually hears the song "Hit Me Baby One More Time." He's like, "No! We're all going to die."
That's funny. You know what's funny? Jerry's the villain one.
Ooh.
Oh.
She's taken over.
Is Jerry in the room with us?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, yeah. Scary. Little people are scary. Always have been, always will be.
Yep.
In 1981, Jim Gordon was hired as the drummer in a recording session for an unremarkable artist, Gene Sarazen. The session in San Francisco would be his last. After this, Jim played in a small garage band that didn't go anywhere.
Well, yeah, it's a garage band.
Yeah.
If you leave the garage, it's no longer a garage band. Now you're a street band.
Yeah.
He later joined a small blues band that had a regular gig on Monday nights in Santa Monica.
I love that, though.
That's nice.
Is he happy at all?
That sounds like a nice little peaceful life.
Yes.
Waited for the voices to go away. You still get to play music.
Well, yeah, I don't know if the voice is appeased because he was only earning $40 a night.
So you think that they wanted more money, but
Possibly.
they're the reason he doesn't
There's
have
a
any
reason
money.
he doesn't have any.
So $40 a night. I mean, we like to go to a little spot, a little Irish joint, and there's a bunch of old timers that play there, and I think it's kind of cute. It's
Oh,
Oh
hell
my
yeah.
God, I love it.
yeah, they're so
They're
good.
they're insanely talented.
They are, and they're all like in their 70s, and that's just how they spend their Friday night.
You know?
And despite the lack of success at this time, this was a time when Jim was not overtaken by his illness. There was even a point when he was mentally stable enough to go on tour with Jackson Browne.
What?
But he couldn't hold on to his sanity for long. He knew he wasn't right, and he felt ashamed or guilty about it, keeping his struggles hidden from others.
Yeah, I feel that.
And so it seems also there's a correlation with every time success comes, it is scary. And I guess he just couldn't handle that. Maybe this was a self-defense mechanism.
It could be.
Oh, self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage, absolutely. Which
Yeah.
we're not going to do.
No. His bandmates didn't know anything was wrong with him.
Wow.
They just thought he was a quiet guy in the back of the bus.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he was suffering in the back.
Yep.
Not that I haven't forgotten about the time he punched and broke some lady's ribcage.
Yeah. At this time, Jim entered a residential treatment program. His illness kept him from staying in one place for too long, moving from one temporary residence to the other. He sold his Mercedes and wasn't working, but occasionally saw his daughter, Amy. At times, he'd go to a bar in Burbank called Shadney, and that was a hangout for session musicians.
What's that called now? And what-
I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
wanna
gotta look
know.
that up.
Let's see. Let's fucking see.
Let's check that out. Shadney.
The Shadney. Yeah, sometimes he'd sit in there with his band or any musicians, but there was no real music career left for him.
Okay. And how old is he now?
At this point, this is the 80s, 1981.
So he's in his mid-30s.
He was born
45.
45, right. Yes. He was 36. So Jim had now been out of the music business for 5 years.
Okay.
He was living alone. He was isolated from friends and any social contact.
Sounds like a dream. It's awesome.
Yeah, this is the life of a hermit, and that's usually okay.
Right.
If you do it in the woods, then it's fine.
Yeah, unless you're sending bombs to universities.
Yeah.
Right.
He was battling severe mental illness, and his condition was only getting worse.
Yeah.
The disease seemed to take over his life, turning his world into a personal hell.
Sounds rough.
Yeah.
Top among those tormentors was the voice of his mother, which would not leave him alone. Which that would bug.
That would suck.
That would be awful.
Oh yeah! Imagine the voice of your mother constantly in your head.
Oh, my God, it's
she
already there.
Kind of is, yeah.
I kind of like the voice of my mother.
Of course you would, Ben.
Benjamin, let's go to Piggly Wiggly. Okay, Mom.
That sounds pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My father, on the other hand, sure. Yes. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so at this point, his mother's joining in, and it's not good.
Yeah, this is a whole family reunion up there. Mm-hmm. Nightmare.
So then at one point in 1983, the voices led him to become fixated upon the idea of killing his mom.
Oh, my gosh.
The thought wouldn't leave him, and by the end of the year, his mother would be dead.
Wow.
The voices Gordon heard shamed him so deeply, he rarely told anyone about them. And that's one thing your mother can do probably better than anyone else, because she already knows everything you went through in your entire life.
Oh, of course. That's where they can pick and pick and
Oh,
pick.
God.
Yes.
But act like it's love.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Jerry, what did you find out about the bar? The Shandy.
Okay, so the Shadneys. It was an old pub where musical artists would pass by. It closed down in 1998.
Oh,
Wow.
we just missed it.
We just missed it.
27 years late.
Yeah, and so apparently it was like a boarded up eyesore for years. I think until like 2011, something called Casa Cabo Bar and Grill tried to purchase and open it up, but it didn't work out. 2015, another brew pub tried to open up, and it was also just lasted a couple of years, and now it's a Brews Brothers brew pub.
Oh, my
What?
God,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
They
gotta
opened
go.
up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Bruce-
not.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a nice generic, Shane. Brews Brothers. All right, interesting.
Oh, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah, what a history.
Yeah, it's literally right. Well, yeah, because they have.
I went there when my son was born.
They have a smaller Brews Brothers in North Hollywood, and then they opened up a larger hub, apparently, where Chadney's used to be.
Wow.
Burbank
That's
is
pretty
full
cool.
of ghosts.
Wow.
I love that.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely haunted with all
Right?
these musicians, and maybe, like, Jim Gordon's mother's voice. still.
Yeah.
Jim, you didn't do the laundry right, Jim. Jim, what kind of chord progression was that? You should just quit.
Maybe a girl would like you better if you took a shower, Jim.
Punch her in the face, Jim.
Oh, no. It's like Psycho.
Yeah.
So his mother, she was one of his closest companions. She believed that drinking and drugs were his problem rather than a symptom of something far more serious.
I mean, she's not all wrong, but
Yeah.
then there's also the component where she's totally wrong.
No, she seems
Yeah.
good. Like,
Yeah.
like she wants to help him, but you're going to have to help yourself first. type
Right.
deal.
And
True.
and back then people didn't realize that the drugs and alcohol was very much like a self-medicating
Yeah.
strategy to cover up what was actually going on.
Absolutely.
So while Gordon began to imagine that many people were torturing him at the time, the main voice in his head remained his mother's.
That's fucking rough.
Very. We need some psychologists in here to break that down.
Yeah, seriously.
How much time they got.
Right?
Jim had been planning to relocate his 71-year-old mother, Osa Marie Gordon, to Seattle, where his older brother lived with his family. She had been living in Tahoe, but had moved back to San Fernando to take care of her partner's estate. Jim and his mother had been distant, communicating mostly through the voices in his head.
Oh.
So
Kind
telepathy,
of one way.
psychopathy and telepathy at the same time. The afternoon before the murder, Jim went to her house, but she wasn't home. Good day to not be home.
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
say so.
The next day, June 3rd, 1983, in the depths of his mental illness, Jim Gordon returned to his mother's house, and in a violent frenzy, he attacked her with a hammer.
Wow.
He struck her in the skull 4 times before grabbing a butcher knife and fatally stabbing her repeatedly.
The hammer
Wow.
the hammer does play into the sensibilities of a drummer. You know. I wonder if he kept the beat.
Yeah, like it was like, wow, you can clearly see like the 2 and the 4 right in these abrasions right here.
Oh, that is horrible.
Sorry, I'm off time.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
seriously, it's like wait, if you look at the wounds, you can clearly see da 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 da
Bam.
da. Yeah, yeah.
It's like the most beautiful piece of music ever written in his poor mother's skull.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
So the final time he stabbed her with such force, it pinned her to the floor.
Fuck.
Freaking Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Screams from the house were reported to the police, who responded quickly. Detectives at the scene found a letter from Jim's brother discussing the family issues, as well as a notebook belonging to Jim's mother. The police went to Jim's house early the next morning. So they got there quickly enough, but he was already gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
That guy's on the move.
Yeah.
He had been drinking very heavily, consuming Long Island iced teas at the favorite bar in Burbank.
Woo!
That will do it.
That'll do it.
I love a good Long
For
Island.
people that don't know what a Long Island iced tea is,
It's
it's all of
everything.
it.
It's
Yeah.
everything. It is a
It is
death
all
sentence
of
the
it.
next day.
Yeah.
I've never had them out here. In New York, I got them all the time because they were like $3.
That's fun. Yeah,
In a
that's
pint
wild.
glass.
Yeah, no, they're pretty. They're more expensive out
Yeah,
here.
they get a little pricey.
But every time someone orders a Long Island iced tea, I'm always like, you're trying to get somewhere, buddy, aren't you?
If you want a Long Island iced tea, just save yourself the money. Get a curly straw and just go to someone's gas tank and just suck it right up, because holy hell.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah. And he would later have several bottles of vodka at home. His blood alcohol level was tested, and it was 3.3%.
Whoa.
That's a lot.
That is a hell of a lot.
When I was at Passages Rehab, small plug, there was a chick there that said she blew a 4. A point
Wow.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
0.4 or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was this super sweet mom from Wyoming.
Yeah.
And yeah, apparently, and then she showed us all, like, because she was obviously arrested. For,
Yeah,
drinking
definitely, yeah.
and driving. But it was, that's what they said. They said it was the highest in the state history.
Wow.
You're supposed to be dead.
Good for her.
Yeah, she was kind of
Feel
proud
weird.
of it.
Yeah,
Rehab's
I'm
a funny place where
yeah.
everyone is kind of proud.
You know, it's just like, females taking over male-dominated spaces.
That's exactly what it was.
Kind of love it.
Jim was nearly unconscious when they had found him. They found him curled up under his coffee table, crying and apologizing.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Curled up under his coffee table. Fuck.
But apologizing to who?
Himself, his mother in his head.
Yeah.
She's still, you imagine he thought the voices were going to stop, and they didn't.
That is even worse.
It's all coming from inside the brain.
Took out his mom for nothing.
Nothing.
In his own words, Jim said, I did it, I'm sorry, but she was torturing me. You have no idea.
That's crazy.
She didn't know either.
And she had no idea. And I also kind of like feel for him. I feel this pain that's like oozing out of him that's still, and he made it worse. And that sucks.
Following his arrest, Jim Gordon was properly diagnosed with schizophrenia, which
Fucking finally, which took way too long.
a little too late, apparently.
Yeah.
However, due to changes in California law influenced by the Federal Insanity Defense Reform Act. Say that 5 times fast.
Insanity Defense Reform Act. Insanity Defense Reform. No, can't do it.
Can't do it even once. He was not permitted to use an insanity defense.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Was this post Hinckley? Because Hinckley got off, basically.
Yeah, so this was 83.
It may have
Hinckley.
been. Was that 82 or something? I don't
Somewhere
fucking
around
remember.
Yeah. Just a year before Jim's court trial, California passed a law making insanity pleas much more difficult to prove. To qualify for an insanity plea, in 1983, the defendant had to not know what they were doing at the time of the crime. Jim clearly knew what he was doing, so he didn't qualify.
Wow.
Yeah, but he thought he was killing the voice in his head.
I mean, he went to his mother's house
Right.
to kill the voices in his head.
Yeah, true.
Despite the fact that 6 psychiatrists testified Jim was insane, he was convicted of second-degree murder. The judge, however, understood the situation and recognized Jim's mental state. On July 10th, 1984, Jim Gordon was sentenced to 16 years to life.
Wow.
That's not so bad.
That's a very
light
Is it
sentence.
16 years.
Yeah, he's in his late 30s. He's going to be out in his mid 50s.
Or he could be in there for life. For second-degree murder, a relatively lenient sentence under the circumstances.
Yeah, it's like a manslaughter sentence.
Not too shabby.
Some have argued that Jim should have been diverted into private mental health care
Probably.
rather than facing the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He became eligible for parole in 1991 and many times after, but he was denied each time after he refused to attend hearings.
Maybe prison was the best place for him.
Honestly, as long as he's just caged up, supervised,
Eating soup.
eating soup.
A lot of soups.
Toilet soup.
Toilet soup.
In 2014, a deputy district attorney noted that Gordon remained seriously psychologically incapacitated.
Oh, so he's not better? Decades in prison in the U.S. penal system didn't make him better?
So weird.
Cheer up, Charlie.
Yeah, what?
So they said he posed a danger when he was not medicated. So he was re-diagnosed with schizophrenia in 2017. Despite his incarceration, Gordon continued to receive royalties from all the records he played on.
That's a lot of stamps, baby. He's living the king's life in prison.
Oh my God.
So
That's fantastic.
his commissary's good.
Yeah, you probably got Tang. And definitely a television.
This made him one of the most financially stable inmates in the California prison system.
Okay, so dead broke on the streets or the richest person in the U.S. prison system.
Hey.
Which one do you want?
I don't, that's...
Are those the only choices?
Those are the only choices.
You know what? I'm already broke out on the streets. I'll just take this one. I know what it's like.
I'm talking on the streets, but okay.
Yeah.
Give me all the ramen.
Yeah, give Kyle all the ramen.
I love ramen, although it's so much worse for you than you thought.
I know.
Than I thought.
Well, the trick is you only use half the packet, and then you like season it yourself, or none of the packet. Season the whole thing yourself.
You know what I do? I don't use the noodles. I just use the seasoning.
That's
I don't
insane.
even want to fucking hear about this.
insane.
I don't even know why I bothered bringing
Do you have voices in your head, Ben?
I do.
Yeah, he's like, just throw the chicken into the oven. Don't salt it at all.
Chef Boyardee don't. But I just say, whatever, Chef Boyardee, I am doing that.
Yeah.
I'm only using all the cheese, Mom.
Right.
Yeah. I remember my dad trying to explain serving sizes to me when I was like 14. He was like, shut up, Dad. But in hindsight, he was correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pizzas are 5 or 4. But
Gordon spent the next 4 decades of his life in prison. Quiet and withdrawn, heavily medicated to the point he was often described as a zombie due to the powerful antipsychotic drugs that were administered.
Wow. I mean, at the same time, I wonder if that was better for him.
yeah.
It sounds like that.
Yeah.
His life behind bars was uneventful, and his music career became a distant memory. In one of his last and only interviews, Jim Gordon described his mental state as, quote, a jail cell that is always on fire.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Well, that is terrifying.
That is awful. I'm actually I'm very happy that he's dead. I am for him.
No, it sounds like he was yearning the sweet release of fucking death.
A jail cell that's always on fire. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Kind of scary.
Very scary.
pretty much.
So Jim Gordon died on Monday, March 13th, 2023,
Wow.
in prison
Really?
at the California Medical Facility in Vacaville.
I wonder what his thoughts on Trump were.
He had no idea Trump was ever in office.
I mean, honestly, if you're in prison, I would be watching TV being like, that's not real.
not real.
None of it's real.
yeah.
I do that now.
This is a prison that specializes in medical and psychiatric care.
Wow.
He was 77 years old.
Wow. So he outlived his mom by 6 years.
Dude suffered for long enough.
Yep, a prison that's always on fire, a jail. Wow.
Yeah. And that'll bring us to
Final thoughts.
Your parents are right. The drums bring out the devil in you.
Oh my
Never
God.
play the drums. No, it's yes. That's my final.
That's
Never
your
play the
final.
drums.
Don't play the
Don't play the
drums.
fucking drums. I've never met a drummer's story that's positive. Look at the guy for Van Halen. He lost both his arms or something like that. Def Leppard. Def Leppard.
He lost one arm.
Yeah, he lost an arm. See that, drummer?
Wow.
Be careful out there, drummers.
Yeah.
Never trust one. Never be one.
And also, it seems like the mother did the right thing and she was very kind. But just in my case, I'm thinking I'm never going to criticize my son if I see that he's crazy.
Well, that's nice of you.
I'm just going to be like, okay, whatever you want, whatever you say, yes.
Well,
Whatever
that's what he's gonna go down a horrible path if you do
Yeah,
that.
not yes.
Well, then
yes,
he's not going to
whatever-
kill me.
Not whatever you want, whatever you
Yeah, he's gonna
need.
kill.
He's-
That's exactly how he kills you.
Yeah. So it's gonna be like, you were always so goddamn agreeable. Shut the fuck up,
Yeah,
Dad.
and then your last words would be like, "I was good to you, Kaden. I was good to." As you choke on your own blood, bro.
Pretty much.
And I get stabbed through the ground.
Yeah.
Pinned.
Yeah.
I think this is my final thought is, this is just a good lesson for mental health and just being just having an awareness of people that are the weird quiet ones in the corner, overly creatively geniused out. It all comes with a price.
Yeah.
You know what everyone's going through.
It really does.
Yeah. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was just saying, if you're going through something, it's really hard to articulate. And it does suck because now if you say you're suicidal to a therapist, they have to report it and it fucks with your life insurance.
That is crazy.
But anyway, try to talk to a trusted person.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's true. It's crazy.
Damn, well, there goes my life insurance.
Oh, yeah, all of us.
It's
I've no
definitely-
What life insurance?
Right. Also that.
I think I'm paying the government $1 million when I die.
Yeah.
Thoughts go out to his daughter, Amy. Like I said, she was born in 1968. She actually gets all of his royalties to this day.
Good. Well, I hope
That's good.
I hope she just doesn't have to work. That'd be great.
What
Yeah.
a complicated life dynamic with her and her father, I can imagine.
Yeah, and his ex-girlfriend, Rita Coolidge, she was actually very happy, and she found a lot of comfort knowing that all of his royalties are going directly to Amy. So
Yeah, great.
It's good.
All right. Well, that's a fantastic episode.
That was a lot.
yeah,
Jim Gordon, the life and death and times
Yeah.
of America's lesser-known drummer.
yes. And do you hear that?
Uh-oh.
You've got mail.
Hello.
We have got a mailbag.
Let's go.
Do it.
On the Spotify comments for wide receiver serial deceiver Randall Woodfield.
I love that title.
Yes.
Shane Heppenstall said that he's very surprised they didn't try to get him on death row. How did he avoid the death penalty for his extensive crime list? And that is simply because he was only convicted for one murder. So it's very hard to get the death penalty if you only kill one person, which take that information how you will. I only killed one. Why are you trying to kill me now?
Seriously.
I mean, look at what they're doing with Luigi Mangione.
Yes. Salty24 said you guys should plan a field trip to see Randall in prison.
Nice.
Oh my God.
I've got a couple here as well.
Yes.
I want to read one from Where's the Beer?
Where's the beer?
They say, think you found your third. She's a keeper.
Uh-oh.
That's you.
Is that me?
You're a keeper.
Oh.
Man, well, I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
Honestly, a little blown by all of this brand new information.
And Meeg says Groove is in the heart bend.
That's right.
Aw.
But they wanted us to go to the prison so that you could see for yourself in person if he was very tall and athletic and handsome.
Oh, I see.
I'll be the judge of that.
Fantastic.
Thank you to everybody. If you want to request an episode, give us a shout at deathandentertainment@gmail.com. Go to patreon.com/diebud. We got 2 podcasts, 1 Patreon, and we got like 8 episodes a week coming out, something like that.
Yeah, we got Ben Kissel Politics. Will be 2 of those. Okay, Bud, 4 of those. 1 Death and Entertainment, and we're building a studio that's going to look real nice.
Yes,
we are going.
Yeah.
So I love it. So I'm going to say hail yourself, and then Jerry, you say until next week, okay?
Okay.
Hail yourself.
Until next week.
Don't go dying on us.
Bye.
Bye.
You have just heard.
A true Hollywood murder mystery.
I have never seen anything like this before.
The movies, Broadway, music, television, all of it.
A place that manufactures nightmares.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Good night. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.